Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Who Dey Lounge. I'm your host, Cincy to France. In today's episode, I get a surprise from an unexpected guest making her debut on Who Dey Lounge. How happy should Bengals fans be? I give my grades on free agency so far. I talk about coaching staff roster construction and what will that mean for the Bengals when they pick first in the second round at 33 overall. But first, Marie!
What?
Babe, can you go get me some more Cubanisto? I don't have any more Cubanisto, please.
Pardon? Mais ça va pas ou quoi? Mais va le chercher ton cubanisto! Et lui non? Il est fou, mais j'y crois pas. Merde!
Say hello. Hi everyone. You wanna sing? Go. Hello. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder. Oh, don't be shy. Good. You wanna get down? Yes? Okay, say bye-bye. Blow a kiss. Good job. I love you. Can I have a kiss? I know, I see. Can I have a kiss?
Yo, Mama.
Where's my kiss? Can I have a kiss? Thank you. Love you. What's up, Bengals fans? Now, the first thing I want to do is say calm down. I just want to offer a little bit of perspective. You guys are going crazy. I understand the excitement out there on the Bengals Twitter and the Bengals universe, but please calm down just a bit. We haven't won the offseason. We haven't won a game. Calm down. You should be happy about some things and you should be less happy about some other things. And I'm going to talk about that now. First, I'm going to start off with DJ Reader. Of course, yes. Be excited about that. Be really excited about that. We have a top tier free agent who signed with Cincinnati, so that's something to be really happy about. The idea of him lining up next to Geno Atkins, that is also something to be very excited about. We needed a run-stopping defensive tackle because our defense ranked last against the run last year. He's not known for rushing a passer, however, that has improved, especially last year. I'm not expecting him to come in and rush the passer like Geno Atkins. That's not his role. However, he does offer that. But yes, that is something to be very excited about. Now we go straight into Trey Waynes, who was signed directly immediately after DJ Reader, and that threw a lot of cold water on the whole enterprise. We paid Trey Waynes like a top 5 DB in the NFL, and he's not a top 5 corner in the NFL. Yes, he's a good tackler, but we just let an awesome tackler walk in free agency in Darqueze Dennard. As my friend Cyril pointed out so poignantly a long time ago, PFF tweeted out something, then I retweeted it, that Sean Prater, Cincinnati Bengals DB Sean Prater, I don't know if you guys remember him, he was the best tackling DB in the NFL. And then when I tweeted that out, my friend Cyril said, I don't want my DBs getting tackles, I want my DBs getting INTs. And to that I said, Cyril, touche. You're right. It's important. If you can have a tackling DB, a DB who can tackle, that's good. But like Cyril told me, he'd rather have DBs who can get their hands on the ball, who can break up the ball, who can shut down one side of a field, or who can cover the other team's best man and not necessarily be a good tackler. Trey Waynes is a good tackler, but he's Drake Kirkpatrick in every other aspect of his game. Right after Trey Waynes, we signed Xavier Su'a-Filo. I saw a lot of people on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram who were really excited about this, and you shouldn't be. He is not the answer for the offensive line. He is at best, when he plays at his best, he's John Miller. Now, we just let John Miller go. walk out the door in free agency. Well, not even. We cut him and we brought in Xavier Su'a-Filo, who is not as good of a player as John Miller. In reality, this is a downgrade. Another reality is John Miller plays right guard, Su'a-Filo plays left guard. People keep saying that he's coming in to replace John Miller. Well, if he spent basically his whole career at left guard, what makes us think that he's going to do better at right guard? It's not going to happen. That's kind of like the same thing Cedric Ogbuehi did. He was an awesome guard, and then for some reason we moved him to right tackle, and then he talked about his natural position being left tackle. Well, this kind of is setting up to be that sort of thing unless we keep him at left guard. He is not a starter. We're not paying him starter money, so Bengals fans don't look at him as a starter or a savior. If the Bengals aren't paying him that way, you shouldn't look at him that way. This is about depth and this is about competition. Now, if he does end up winning one of those guard spots, I'm going to be worried. And if you're not worried, just think about this. Do you want Su'a-Filo, a lesser John Miller, protecting Joe Burrow? I'm going to say the answer is no. And then we get to Mackensie Alexander. Now that is a yes. That is a big yes. Be excited about Mackensie Alexander. We needed a slot corner. We needed a corner who can tackle well. And that's important because we just let Darqueze Dennard go. Good tackle. Him being a good tackler is different from Trey Waynes being a good tackler, because Mackensie Alexander is going to be in the slot. He's going to be closer to the line of scrimmage. He's going to be closer to all the offensive linemen. And we need someone who can cover, who can run. He can run with tight ends. He can run with receivers. He can play zone underneath, and he needs to be able to tackle running backs and tight ends as well. So it's more important for him to be a good tackler than it is for Trey Waynes to be a good tackler out on the boundary, out on the outside. So that's why it's a good thing, and that's why Mackensie Alexander is something to be excited about, and Trey Waynes less so. Now, something that's funny, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, but if we would have just signed DJ Reader and then switched the order of signing Mackensie Alexander and Trey Waynes, I would have been a lot more happy. I would have felt a lot more better about this free agency signing. Now, I'm not sure what I'm doing there because we got them both, but I guess it's just the order and just seeing people going crazy and seeing the contract amount. DJ Reader, I would have been really excited about, and then you would have followed that up with Mackensie Alexander. I would have been over the top. I would have understood your excitement, and I would have been right there with you. Yeah, we did it. But when we signed DJ Reader and then we went with Trey Waynes, it immediately threw cold water on my mood. And then we came back with Mackensie Alexander. If those two guys had just switched in order in which they signed, I would have felt a whole lot better. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Like I said, be excited about having Mackensie Alexander, be excited about having DJ Reader, but Trey Waynes and Xavier Su'a-Filo a little bit less so. Now, it's the offseason, free agency, teams are making moves, and we're almost at the draft, so I know people love grades, so I'm going to offer my personal grades. A+ for DJ Reader, A for Mackensie Alexander. I'm going to give a D for Su'a-Filo. It's not his fault, but if we're expecting him to come in and have a starting position, then it's going to be a D for me. And a D for Trey Waynes, not because of the player Trey Waynes, but because of the contract that we gave Trey Waynes, especially when you consider the contract that Darqueze Dennard got from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to give that a D. That whole totality of things makes me give a D to the Trey Waynes signing. And that comes out to be the average of a solid C. If we hadn't signed Trey Waynes and we hadn't signed Su'a-Filo, then I would be A+, maybe a B, because we didn't get one of the linebackers that we were targeting. Maybe we could have gotten one of the linebackers we were targeting. We might have had to pay a little bit more for that linebacker, might have overpaid, yes, but we already overpaid for a defensive back. I would have rather overpaid for a linebacker than a defensive back. So here we are, my grade C. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is, of course, it is draft season. The draft is in a month, or at least I hope it's going to be in a month. and fans are trying to predict who their team is going to draft. To do that, however, one of the things you need to know is what the coaching staff and what your front office like to do. How do they like to construct their roster? For example, Cincinnati Bengals, we have the stereotype of we love bringing in Ohio State players. So that's over exaggerated, but that is kind of a stereotype that Mike Brown and the Brown family loves their Ohio State players. Another thing that the organization likes to do is we have a tendency to double dip. Not a tendency, but we have from time to time double dipped with a certain university. And I would be far from surprised if we did that this year with LSU. I am starting to get a better feel for what this coaching staff likes to do as far as free agency and the draft is concerned, but I'm not sure I'm on board with it. So all of the offseason transactions from last year and all of this offseason transactions from this year so far is giving me a better feel for what I think the Bengals are going to do and what I think they're trying to do with their roster construction. What I'm going to try to do now is predict the universe. I'm going to predict the universe in which the Bengals are going to be drafting in that second round, the 33rd pick overall, the first pick in the second round. And I use the term universe because that's the same term that Duke Tobin used when he talked about attacking the draft. A universe of players that he's going to pick from. I have a few players that might be in that universe that I think the Bengals are going to look at. This is not who I want the Bengals to sign or draft. These are people I think might be in that universe that the Bengals might look at and say, hey, we want that guy. One of the players I think the Bengals might be targeting or might be in that universe is Zach Bond, a linebacker out of Wisconsin. Now, he insists that he can be an off-ball linebacker. I saw that a couple of times on tape, but for the most part, he is a set the edge, rush the passer type of player. Much in the same way as Jermaine Pratt was when we drafted him out of the third round. Now Zach Bond is in that same mix, that same area. The Bengals might try to do with Zach Bond because he has a lot of talent. There are some people who have him as a first round pick and there's some people who have him as a second round pick. But if the Bengals are going to draft him, they're going to be thinking, hey, he can be the type of linebacker that we need somebody to run up the seams with tight ends and cover backs out the backfield. And I don't think that's his forte, and I think we're going to be putting him in a position to fail more so than we will be putting him in a position to succeed. And that's why I'm kind of afraid that Zach Bond might be the type of player that the Bengals go, hey, we like him, we're going to draft him at 33, and then we're going to ask him to do things that he hasn't done. And then we're all going to be disappointed like, hey, we drafted this guy, what's wrong? Now he's a bust. Another player who might be in that universe is Tyler Biadasz. Now I'm sure I'm torturing his name, but Tyler Biadasz is the center from Wisconsin. Now I thought he would have been a good pick last year. If he chose to come out last year, he might have been a first round pick. Most people have him as a second round pick. I've seen him a couple of times in a couple of mocks in the first round, but he's also the type of player that might be in that universe. He plays strictly center at Wisconsin. Only center, 4 years. He didn't play guard. Now, people are saying he could play guard, but he's only played center. Now, this is the type of pick where the Bengals might draft him to address the offensive line position, and they might put him at left guard or right guard, even though he hasn't done it. And then you're in a situation where, hey, we have to use him at guard. He's never done it. He might be in a position to fail. And then we have Trey Hopkins, who started off as guard, and turns out he's a better center, and now he's our starting center. So what happens if we draft somebody like Tyler Biadasz? Then all of a sudden we might have to put Trey Hopkins back at guard, where he was a bit of a lesser player, just so we can keep Tyler Biadasz at center because he's never done guard. And so now all of a sudden we're asking players to do things that they haven't done before or that they're less good at. Again, two other players who are probably in that universe are offensive tackles, one from Houston, Josh Jones, and the other from USC, Austin Jackson. Now, I put them here because, once again, offensive line help. These guys are strictly left tackles. We have Jonah Williams at left tackle. If we draft one of these guys, who's going to move? Josh Jones, Austin Jackson, strictly left tackles. Does that mean we move Jonah Williams to right tackle? Does that mean we move him to left guard? I don't know. But once again, we're we're trying to, I think this coaching staff has a thing about plugging round pegs into square holes. Another player in this universe is Jonah Jackson, a guard from Ohio State, because our administration, our front office loves Ohio State players. I've seen mock drafts where he's in the second round. I've seen some mock drafts where he's in the third round. But all of a sudden we have a guard, because if we need to address the offensive line room, we have a guard from Ohio State who's probably a bit better than any of the guards we have on the roster right now. So that is also a possibility. And then a final possibility is Lloyd Cushenberry, the center from LSU. Now, here we go again. We might double dip. We draft Joe Burrow at quarterback, number 1, and then we come back and we can draft Lloyd Cushenberry either at 33 or in the third round, the top of the third round. Now, I've seen Lloyd Cushenberry go once or twice in a couple mock drafts in the third round. Odds are he's probably going to go in the second round. Now, if we drafted him at the top of the second round at 33, that would be a little bit of a reach. If the Bengals were to be targeting Lloyd Cushenberry, look for them with that second pick to trade back a little bit in the second round, acquire some draft pick, and then draft Lloyd Cushenberry. Now, I do believe that he might be a center and offensive lineman in that universe, but I don't think he'll be there in the third round. So that might be something the Bengals might try to do, especially considering what they did last year in the draft. Now, my hope is one of the linebackers, Patrick Queen from LSU or Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma, falls out of the first round. And however, I think they'll both be gone at the end of the first round. I don't think either one of them would be there for us at 2. So players I would look for the Bengals to draft or to target at 33 at the top of the second round. Players in that universe, as Duke Tobin puts it, are Zach Bond, Lloyd Cushenberry, Tyler Biadasz, Jonah Jackson, Austin Jackson, and Josh Jones. If they like all of them, they might trade back a little bit and still have one of those guys left in that particular cluster, that particular universe, and pick up a few extra picks and still be able to get one of those guys. Don't forget, also in that universe are Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen. Now, I would love for one of those guys to be there, but I seriously doubt it. That's all I have time for today, guys. Please let me know if you agree with my cluster of players that the Bengals might target. Not who you would target, but who you think the Bengals might target. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. We can start some debate. We can have some interaction. Please, I need some interaction. We're on lockdown. I wanted to have some friends over to film some videos with me, but now we're on lockdown, so we're not supposed to go anywhere. So please, I would love some interaction. I would love some back and forth, some debate. So leave a comment, please. Subscribe. This is the first time I've ever asked for you to subscribe, but please subscribe, please like. I hope you like it. If you're bored, please check out my older videos. They're good. Some are better than others. I'm just getting started with all of this, but please check those out and be on the lookout for my future videos. And until next time, be safe, be careful, have a great day, have a Who Dey.